pleasure to be here with you guys today. Thank you for having me. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I do. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been a social worker for about 12 years, full-time therapist for about the last 6. I do therapy, I do mental health advocacy, education, teach workshops, lead a support group, all kinds of stuff. Everything. I write books, do inspirational and motivational things. Everything I do book-wise is going to be inspirational. I launched my own practice last year, well this year, in April. I'm trying to jump ahead. But this year in April, so I've been in full-time private practice since then, working for myself. So I appreciate that freedom. I'm sorry, where is your practice? Daytona. I'm in Daytona, but I can see clients across the state virtually. All right, so today I want to share with you just a few things about mental health, but first I want to find out what you guys know about mental health. Tell me some things.
Come on.
I know just as important as physical health as well.
Absolutely. Did everybody hear what she said? It's just as important as physical health. Actually, a little bit more. Because if your mental health is not intact, it can affect your physical health. Your brain tells everything else in the body what to do. So if things are not right up here, you're going to have some issues in some other places. So that's very important. Thank you. Anybody else? And there is no right or wrong. Just share what you know. Yes, ma'am.
I would say it's not something that's generally spoken about.
Absolutely. And especially in the African American and minority communities, mental health has been taboo a lot of times, or just something that's not talked about at all. So when problems do arise, when things do happen, it's very hush-hush. There's not a lot of information or resources available, but things are changing, and I'm excited about that. It's becoming more prevalent in conversations in spaces like this and in African American and minority households. So awareness and education is super important. Anybody else? Thank you so much.
Come on, students.
What do you guys do for your mental health to make sure that it's good? Yes, ma'am.
I do with hobbies. I do something that calms me down after a stressful day.
Awesome. Anybody else? Thank you. I know y'all not this
Come on,
quiet all the
seniors.
time.
I mean, Gabby's leading the pack here.
I listen to music and book.
Awesome. Thank you. Music is a very powerful tool for mental health, for expressing and dealing with emotions. It can completely change or set a mood. It can lift your spirits. It can express the things that you don't have the words to say. So that's an awesome tool for mental health. What do you play? Okay, so you play spades?
No, he said say it again.
Oh, car, okay,
Yeah.
I thought you said cars. So you like to race, okay, so yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. Sports, absolutely. Sports is another great tool for mental health, for release, for building social skills. Awesome. What do you play? No, this one, but you can share too. Basketball, volleyball. What do you do for your mental health? Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I'm not one of the students, but I don't know about you girls, but I talk to my girlfriend. I talk to friends and share what I'm going through and what I'm thinking.
Absolutely. Talking to somebody that you trust is an important tool as well. Thank you. Yes,
I
ma'am.
just take breaks to like unplug. Yeah.
Huge, hugely important. Taking a break when you need to. Everybody gets stressed out. We have a lot of things on our plate. We have a lot of responsibilities. This is due, that's due. We gotta go here, gotta be there, gotta practice this, gotta do that. Sometimes you just need to unplug from everything. Turn that phone off, which I know is like, what? Put my phone down, really need to do that, to just unplug from everything, still yourself, be quiet, breathe, meditate, read, relax, something that isn't stimulating. So you give your brain a rest, you give your nervous system a rest, and you can just woosah, reset, and start again. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Awesome. Walking and running is another great tool, especially if you have anxiety. There's something about the rhythm and the pacing of your feet hitting the ground when you're walking or running that helps soothe anxiety. Also, if you're outside in bare feet, take those shoes off. Put your feet on the ground. It's called grounding. It helps pull anxiety out of your body. Also, inflammation. Very good for you. Very calming and centering. So, I know it may be a little icky. When I was little, we used to be outside barefoot all the time. Run around in the grass, climbing trees, all of that. And I know that may be foreign to some of you guys because now it's more technology, more digital, more social media kind of things when you're younger. But get outside, get some fresh air, get some sun on your skin. That vitamin D is great for lifting your mood, helping with emotional regulation. We live in Florida. Most of the time it's sunny, so you can get outside. You can, even if it's cloudy, you still get the benefits. So make sure you're out getting fresh air. Anybody else? Yes. Drawing? Awesome. Another great tool for mental health. I use drawing a lot with journaling prompts because sometimes you may not have the words, but you can draw what you're feeling, what you're seeing. Sometimes people see things that everybody else may not see, and I have them draw what they're seeing so we can track, so we can talk about where these pictures and images come from. So it's another great tool. Any kind of artwork, painting, sculpting, working with colored pencils, charcoal, any of that, it gives you another avenue of expression. So art things are great. All right. So you guys have a pretty good, well-rounded set of coping skills, which are things that you can do to help manage your mood, to help with your emotions, to help you calm down, to help lift your spirits if you're feeling down, and that's great. So we got to utilize those tools. If you don't have any things that you do, you probably haven't thought about it in that manner, because we all have things that help us feel better. You just aren't thinking about it in terms of mental health. So your mental health is all of the things that are related to your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts. There is a thing called the cognitive triangle, which is the relationship between your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And all of those things affect one another. So the lines on that triangle can point in any direction. So let's do an example real quick. I need a volunteer. Anybody? All right, awesome, thank you. If you walked into a room and everybody gets quiet and looks at you, what are you going to think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that may be out of the top of the discussion.
Okay, so how do you feel?
A little anxious,
Okay, and what
Nervous.
do you do?
probably wave or.
Okay, same situation, the only thing we're gonna do is change the thought. So you walk into the room, everybody gets quiet, is looking at you, and your thought is, ooh, I must look good today. How do you feel? She already showed us what she's gonna do.
Oh, I feel good.
All right, same situation, except this time your thought is, oh my gosh, my pants must be unzipped. What are your thoughts? I mean, what are your feelings?
Embarrassed.
So what do you do?
Trying to hide myself.
See how her feelings and actions changed just by the thought changing? It was the same situation. Nothing about that changed, but her thoughts changed, so then her feelings and her behaviors changed. So a lot of times, in situations, we can do that same thing. If there's a negative situation, how am I thinking about it? How does that make me feel? Then what do I do because of it?
Right.
So those are things that you can keep in mind when thinking about your mental health. Thank you. When
All right,
thinking
let's give it
about
up.
your mental health. Because most of the time, the situation dictates our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. And if we are more aware of that and more intentional about checking those thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, we can take complete control of our mental health. So if you have a really bad day, one of the things you can do immediately is to reframe those thoughts. Instead of thinking, hey, this was the worst day, it just sucked, it was crap. Change that thought. You know, today wasn't the best day, but I still did really well on my test. I had a crappy day at school, but guess what? I get to go to rehearsal and hang out with my friends. So how you manage those thoughts changes the trajectory of your feelings and your behaviors. Because if you got a bad attitude, if you're angry, if you have a bad day, and all your thoughts are negative, guess what? Your feelings and your actions are gonna be negative. You're probably gonna get in trouble because you're gonna pop off at your mouth and you're gonna say something slick to somebody that you're not supposed to, or your tone is gonna be wrong. How many of you have your parents ever said, watch your tone? Watch how you talk to me? Who you talking to? Who you talking to? I ain't one of your friends. It's because of how you said what you said. And a lot of times that stems from the things that you're feeling on the inside, especially if you don't feel heard. Have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to tell somebody something and you feel like they just don't hear me, they don't understand, and then you get frustrated? What happens to your voice when that happens?
It gets higher,
What happens to your tone?
it gets rougher, ugly,
What happens to your volume?
louder.
And then what? You get in trouble. So when you're more intentional about checking your thoughts, your feelings, and behaviors, you can completely turn that situation around. If you know what, I'm already in a mood, I'm not feeling this today, it's absolutely okay to say, you know what, Mom, I had a really hard day. I really don't want to have this conversation right now because I'm not in the best mood. Can we talk about it later? That would get you out of so much trouble. Rather than yelling, screaming, getting in trouble because your tone is sassy or your attitude, because that's the parent's favorite word. Your attitude is just horrible. And you're like, well, I don't even have an attitude. But it comes across that way because your feelings are dictating your actions. Okay? So, now that we got that out of the way a little bit, let's talk about some other things that you can do to help improve and maintain mental health. We talked about some coping skills, but the other big thing is self-care. Who can tell me what self-care is? I heard something like washing your face, okay? Washing your face, what else?
Putting yourself before, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Stop a minute, do what makes you feel better, and then those other things become easier.
Absolutely. So taking care of your needs first. Anybody else?
Sending the kids to the grandparents.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anybody else?
Meeting your own needs, realizing what it is that you need
Absolutely. So a lot of times when I ask people what they do for self-care, I get the responses of manicures, pedicures, massages, I got my hair done, which is all great. Those are parts of self-care. That's part of your physical self-care. But I think of those more of maintenance. Absolutely treat yourself to a massage, to a hairdo, whatever. But also look at the bigger things, because self-care is taking care of your whole self. Your emotions, your social connections, your finances. Most of you guys don't work, but school, that would be considered your professional self-care. Your spiritual self-care, all of those areas that go across the pillars of wellness. So really taking care of your whole self. How do you take care of your emotions? We've talked about a few ways so far: expressing yourself, communicating, journaling, through art, all of those things, but also making sure that you are respectful of other people's feelings and emotions. When you are talking, that you are in environments that respect your emotions and feelings. Intellectual self-care, things like reading, learning, continuing to challenge your brain, getting that mojo working, puzzles, logic puzzles, Sudoku, challenging tasks, which sometimes we don't like to do. But that keeps your brain functioning and also decreases the chances of things like Alzheimer's and dementia. Because basically, if you don't use it, you lose it. So continue learning, continue challenging yourself, okay? Social, how do we connect socially? How do we take care of our social self-care? Making time for friends and family, doing fun things, meeting new people, networking. Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to accept everything either.
Absolutely, you do not. And I think that's important across all the pillars, because just because someone brings something to you, you do not have to receive it. Negative words, negativity, bad energy.
But I mean, like this time of year, especially this party, got this play, this
Mhm.
recital, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
You know,
I was getting there,
Oh,
but yes, absolutely.
sorry.
No, that's okay. You don't have to accept anything that's presented to you. If it doesn't align with your morals, your values, your schedule, how you want to spend your time, no is a complete sentence that does not require explanation.
I love that.
I'm
No,
getting so
thank
much
you.
better at that.
Mhm. And it takes time, because sometimes we're raised to be agreeable so that we don't disrespect someone or hurt their feelings, but you absolutely don't have to accept things. Whether it's an invitation or engagement, it's words, it's opportunities, you do not have to say yes. You can say no at any time and every time if you want to. And don't feel like you have to explain why. Now, with your parents, you may have to give a little bit of an explanation because, you're still a minor. Yes, ma'am.
it doesn't matter if you're a minor, you still are answering to your parents.
You can say no to your parents, but they may require an explanation. So with other folks and friends and things like that, and you say no, you don't have to. But parents may, what you mean no? Tell me why. Because that's your parent and you're a child, yes, give them the respect
And
of
you
an
can
answer.
remain a child until you're 100.
Even at 120, you still mama's baby. So tread lightly when telling your parents no, and be prepared to give an explanation in case they ask for one. But you don't have to justify your no. You don't have to tell somebody why you don't want to go somewhere, why you don't want to be a part of something, why you don't want to accept their negative words or energy. Stand on your no. Be firm in that, and don't let people sway you into being agreeable just because that's the popular thing to do or what everybody else is doing. It's okay to stand out and be an individual and make your own choices.
And it's also, if you think about it through, then you're not showing up to something that you said because you didn't know how to say no first.
Mhm.
So you agree, and now it's time, and you don't want to, so this person is depending on you because you said you're coming, and instead you don't.
And even if that is your situation, you still have the right to change your mind.
But you should communicate that, and not just
Absolutely.
not show up.
Absolutely, you still have the right to change your mind. If you've made a decision and you think that thing through a little later and say, you know what, that's not for me. That's not something that I wanna be a part of, that's not something
Or I
that
just
I
don't have
agree with.
time.
Absolutely, I don't have time for that. You can absolutely say no, but the decent and respectful thing to do is to communicate that. Let that person know, you know what, I've changed my mind, I don't have the time that I thought I had, or I thought I was gonna be available and I'm not, or I'm just not interested. I thought about it and it's not for me. So make sure you are communicating, if you have a change of mind or heart, so that the other person can plan accordingly or make arrangements if they need to, and you still have your good reputation of being a leader. Because that's important too, okay? All right, so we've talked about some of the kinds of self-care. Let's talk about financial. And this one is key because you guys are at a very pivotal point right now where you're young enough to start building wealth in ways that you may not have thought about. So most of you, whether you have a job or not, you get money at some point during the year. What do you do with that money?
Let's go around. What do you do with that money?
Half spend and the rest I save.
Okay?
The currency is 20%.
Okay.
I'm a saver, but I generally save for goals that I have. But then I spend because I have to live, but I'm a big saver.
I save and spend just a little.
Save.
Time, save, spend, and not invest.
Sometimes.
Okay.
And bad at it too. What do you do? Well, she works all the time.
Okay, so, alright, I heard a lot of spend, heard a few saves in there, a couple of invest, a tithe. So, all of those things are important. And I wanted to bring up financial self-care for you guys because it's never too early to start learning about financial literacy and building wealth and all of those things. Because if you start now, by the time you hit 25, you could be a millionaire just by investing, just by saving and not spending everything that comes into your hands. So I heard this gentleman over in the corner say he saves, he spends, and he invests. This lady over here, tithes, saves, spend, invest. Those are the winning combinations because you want to put something away, but you don't want to put it away in a place where it's not growing. So investments, absolutely. Saving more for an emergency fund or a goal like this lady says she saves for goals and things that she has. So those things are important to learn about now because if you start building that habit now as you get older and when you become an adult, it won't be so difficult for you. You'll have a better range on your finances and then you won't be living above your means. So you won't have to struggle and live paycheck to paycheck or wonder where this money's coming from because you've learned how to manage it well now and you've invested, so you got a little nest egg to pull from if you need to. You may be able to spend a little bit or be like Dr. Primrose and travel the world. I'm trying to get to her level, I'm just saying.
Did you mention Paris?
I mean, hey,
That's my
Paris,
self-care.
Jamaica, the Bahamas, like she everywhere. She's everywhere. I'm trying to get in her
That's my
suitcase.
self-care.
Absolutely, travel is great for self-care.
And then my phone doesn't work, I like that.
That's- Hey, when you sitting on the island and it's tropical and warm and sunny, what you need a phone
Listen.
for? You enjoy the waves and the sand and the seas.
And take pictures, yeah.
Yeah, you can take a couple pictures.
But it doesn't work if you can take pictures.
But you know,
Yeah.
if I'm on vacation, everybody will know what I see. You should go on vacation so you can see it too. Alright, so back to our types of self-care. We talked about intellectual, emotional, financial, spiritual self-care. How do you do that? Meditate, that's a great one. What else?
Pray.
Pray, absolutely. What else?
Worship.
Worship.
Church.
I heard something else. Go to church, absolutely. All of those things are great for your spiritual self-care. But one of the biggest things you can do is take time to quiet your spirit, to be still, to disconnect from all of the busy hubbub of everything that's going on. Whatever your spiritual beliefs and practices are, that's universal. Quiet yourself. Center yourself so you can think, so you can hear, so you can breathe. Because we get bombarded with a lot of outside forces and voices and influences and all of those things that come to whisper, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, this is what you need to be, this is how you have to be, you need this, you need that, you're supposed to be like this, you're supposed to be that. And if you never take time to quiet yourself and disconnect from those voices, you won't be able to figure out who you really are without those influences taking over. So, find some time. If meditation is not your thing, just quiet. You don't have to sit and chant. That's not the only kind of meditation there is. There's guided meditations that helps you focus on your breathing. There's meditation that helps you focus on finding tension in your body. There's meditation where you choose a positive quote, scripture, verse, whatever you want to choose and focus on that and make that your mantra for the day. Affirmations are another great way to address your spiritual self-care. Speak life over yourself. Tell your day what it's going to be. When you wake up in the morning, today is going to be a great day. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to walk in excellence. My mood is not going to dictate me today. My mouth is not going to get me in trouble today. Tell your day what it's going to be and watch how it lines up. Because when you speak, you create create the atmosphere that you live under. If everything that comes out of your mouth is negative, guess what? That's what's going in your ear. That's what you're gonna hear all day. That's gonna affect your thoughts, your feelings, and then your behaviors. So we're right back at that triangle. So what comes out of your mouth is hugely important, okay? All right, did I cover all the pillars? I think I got most of them. If not, we'll catch you later. So, I brought a couple of things for you guys today, and they're on the back table, so you can grab them, on your way out. I brought this, which is a list of coping skills. This is really great to help the other people around you know what's helpful for you. It's not an all-inclusive list, but it has lots of things, so you can check off what is helpful. Give this to your parents, give this to the people in your household, in your family, so they know if you're having a hard day, these are things that are helpful. I can try this, or I can let them do this, and maybe that'll help with their mood, or help with them, lifting their spirits, or whatever. The other thing I brought for you is 101 self-care activities for kids and teens. So it has some of the things that we've talked about today that you guys have shared, but it also has some other things, like joining a club or sport, focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't, do yoga, practice self-love, maintain a positive attitude, clean or organized, things like that. So there's one of these for each of you in the back. So hopefully you can implement some of those things and they'll be helpful for you. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that you have support.
This is Daytona. So every second Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m., I'm at Fire to the Nations Global Ministries. It's 1301 Bethel Road, Suite 3. It's open to anyone in the community, and we don't have a leash because it's just a resource for anybody. You can come, share with us what you need support in. I'm the licensed clinician that's there. I do have things prepared when we come in just to give as tools and resources, but it really kind of flows with the needs of the group.
You're open to the entire community.
Anybody. 7 p.m. on the second Wednesday. It's this Wednesday coming up, so if you want to come join us, come on now.
Any last questions? Yes.
What about mental disorders, like ADHD?
What do you want to know about?
How would the strategies be any different, or do we still have the same advice?
So for specific disorders, there are different sets of coping skills that tend to work better. So for ADHD, things like organization, structure, routines, meditation, learning self-control skills, because it's an impulse control disorder, really are helpful. So if it was, say, anxiety, things like deep breathing, meditation, running, affirmations may work a little better. So it kind of depends on what your symptoms are, and it's really a personal thing because some things work better for different people, but coping skills and self-care in general help with any disorder. And getting enough sleep, because lack of sleep makes all mental health disorders worse.
We're on our phones.
So make sure that you are getting enough sleep, limit your screen time before bed, at least an hour before bed, get off that screen. Because the blue light affects your body's ability to make melatonin.
Yeah.
So if you're having trouble sleeping, if you got insomnia, that phone may be the reason why. I know I hurt your feelings.
Ouch.
Ouch for myself. I'm guilty too. I've been doing better, but it really does affect your sleep.
Any other
Also,
questions?
also watch what you eat before bedtime, because potatoes can affect your dreams and make them really lucid and strange. So if you've been eating chips, french fries, anything like that before bedtime and having strange dreams, you're not crazy, it's potatoes.